Gang-stalking gave me an insight. I was able to observe not the mechanics, but some of the relationship in between the intake of the senses and the mind. And this information allowed me to see that the mind has muscles. Well, let me say that better. Let me rephrase that better. The strength of the muscles of your throat, the strength of the muscles of pretty much this center part, I guess your throat, has a huge impact on your ability to focus. It has a huge impact on how easy you are to manipulate. And it has a huge impact on what you pay attention to. Hello, welcome. My name is Anonymous, and in this channel we talk about gang stalking, we talk about the mind, we talk about manipulation. And I have been getting gang stalked. I was gang stalked for 5, 6, 7 years. Honestly, it has been so long since I have been getting gang stalked. It's happened for a really long time. So now I'm at a point. That whole experience allowed me to understand a lot of aspects of the mind, and which is exactly what I want to cover with you today. This information has not been covered anywhere else before, not even by the Hinduism people whom their entire religion is about the mind. So this is information that has never been released before. So welcome. If this channel is the Gang Stalking Playbook, and I will tell you what happens to your mind when you get gang stalked. But first, you have to understand a little bit of the anatomy. So your ears, your throat, your mouth, your eyes are all connected to the sensory input. When you hear a sound, the sound has certain vibrations, and the vibrations do not go straight into your ear, but they actually go through the mouth first. If it's a word, when you hear something, if you pay attention, you're actually gonna see that your tongue gets activated. That is how your mind deciphers voice. That's how your mind deciphers language. So let's say that I say blah blah blah. So try this, so that you see that I'm not full of shit. So have the thought blah blah blah, but don't try not to move your tongue. Just stay quiet, and then put your focus on your throat. You can visualize, you can use your mind's eye to think of the word blah, like in capital, bold white letters, the word blah. So keep your mouth closed, and then just use your mind's eye to have the word blah pop up. So notice that when you think of the word blah, your mouth moves. It's almost like your mouth wants to do blah. But what happens is that when you hear that, you know it's blah, not only because you're saying it, but the fact that you're hearing it. Your mind is also listening to what you're saying. And this is it, or I'm so sorry. This is the first time I'm explaining this, so I might be a little rusty on how to explain this. So when you think of the word blah, you're gonna feel that your mouth kind of moves. So pay attention to your tongue and to all your mouth muscles, and you're gonna feel like your mouth is trying to move. Those are action potentials. So when you speak or when you hear something, the sound comes in through the ear, and then it goes through your tongue and your mouth, and depending on what parts of the mouth activates, that is how you're gonna decipher if it was a word or not. So I'm gonna think of the word pussy. I'm sorry, I don't know, that's just the first word that came to mind. So if I say the word pussy, let's say pussycat, so that YouTube doesn't demonetize this video. So when I think the word pussycat, right? So have awareness of your mouth movement and your tongue movement. So now when you say pussycat, feel the movement pattern in your mouth. Now say it a couple of times and try to really learn, like to have an idea of which parts of the tongue activates, where you feel the sensations, where your tongue touches the roof of your paladar, of the roof of your mouth. So think pussycat. All right? Now, don't move your mouth and think of the same word. You're gonna feel that if you pay enough attention, you're gonna notice that the same parts, the same muscles that you actually use when you're saying the word pussycat actually move, like you feel sensations there. That is because that's how your mind deciphers what you're saying. That's how your mind creates the sound of your thought. Your thought is literally, thoughts in themselves are just like beams of thought without language. But the thing is that when you speak a word like pussycat, you think of the word and then your mind puts a sound behind it. Because that is how we pass on thoughts to other people, through language. So, moving on. When someone is telling me pussycat, when I hear it, at the same time that I'm hearing it, I'm not sure if it's exactly at the same time, but I'm sure there has to be some type of delay. Oh shit. The fuck? You as stupid? Oh, there's a car that like slowed down hard. Okay, I'm sorry. So, I hear the sound pussycat. And then when I hear it, my mouth is trying to decipher the sound. And then the sound comes in, and then that is how the sound is transferred into a thought. So it's the sound goes into the ear, then the ear pushes it into the throat and the mouth, and all these muscles activates, all the muscles in the mouth and the throat. And then depending on what movement pattern it is, then that movement, that sound goes in through the mind, and then the mind creates the pussycat. The mind creates the thought. That is how we understand language. Now, that was the first test, right? That is the first snippet of knowledge from this video. Second snippet of knowledge. Your attention is fully dependent on your ability to block inputs from outside sounds. So, when you're focused on something, you can tighten all the muscles of your throat and your mouth, And when you do that, and let's say that there's a conversation somewhere, like next to you, the moment that you harden all of this, you're gonna stop your brain from trying to decipher what people are saying that are around you. You're only allowing your brain to decipher the thoughts that you're having in your head. So the fact that I have had that, look, try it. Go where someone is having a conversation and then pull out some reading. So then just tighten your throat muscles, tighten your tongue, and start reading. And you're gonna notice, if you pay enough attention, when someone is talking around you, you're gonna notice that your mind is gonna talk. Your mind is gonna wanna decipher what people are saying around you. But the fact that you're hardening your throat muscles and your tongue, you are literally blocking your mind from interpreting what is being said around you. So, as this happens, that in itself, that little test tells you that depending on the strength of the muscles of your throat, of your organs that decipher, that listen, that is how you can just keep your train of thought only focused on what you're saying. Now, when you are lost in thought, this part in the ears are unbelievably receptive. That's where people can get hypnotized. Because when you have all of this relaxed, everything that is said around you is just poop. It's passing right into your subconscious mind. Because you're thinking about something else. So this is your mind is listening. Now, well, that was actually what I wanted to talk to you about this video. So if you feel that someone is trying to like influence you, like a salesperson, right? Or, well, no, not that. I don't want to say a salesperson. Well, I'm sorry. The crux of this video is that the strength of the muscles of your throat are incredibly no. The weaker they are, the easier it is going to be to manipulate you. They have people around you have easier access to your subconscious. So one thing that I did that actually helped me during gang-stalking was that I bit my tongue. And I didn't allow it to move when I was listening to anything. And doing that stopped the voices in my head. Like it stopped my mind from creating voices. So try this. By your mouth, just bite it and then think of the word pussycat like you did earlier. Notice that now that you hear it, like without actually you saying it, you're not gonna hear the word saying pussycat. You're gonna hear the thought in your mind saying pussycat. Try it. And that is because you are limiting the ability of your mind to actually push the thought. No, you are limited. you're limiting the ability of your mind to interpret the thought that is coming from the consciousness. That in itself should show you that the mind and the consciousness are completely different, because you think pussycat, right? But bite your tongue and think pussycat again. But like really bite it, like make it a roll and just freaking bite it, and bite it so that it doesn't move. That in itself tells you that even though you know what you're thinking, you know that you're thinking the word pussycat, but you're limiting your mind's ability to interpret the thought because you're biting it. So, if this makes sense to you, please write it in the comments. Just write us some emoji or something, so that I know that you guys are understanding what I'm trying to explain. If not, please let me know, and I will make another video trying to elaborate on this information. But this is incredibly useful, because that is how you know. That is how you know how susceptible you are to being manipulated. Literally, all you have to do... Well, I don't even know where I'm going in anymore with this video. I'm unsure of exactly what I want to tell you in this video. But what I do know that I want to tell you is for you to realize that the mind and your consciousness are actually two different parts of you. And not only that, but this is part of your mind. And your consciousness, like your mind and your body, are different from your consciousness. And your mind's ability to know, to understand what you're thinking, is completely completely dependent on your organs. Like, how do I explain this to you? Like, if you didn't have a tongue and you would say, your mind would know exactly that you mean pussycat. But when someone would say, well, I don't know, I'm going all over the place now. Well, your mind needs the muscles, needs your organs to know what you're thinking. Your consciousness sends the thought to the body, and then the body to the mind. Just like people that talk to you, they send sound to your ears. Your ears they push it to your throat, and then your throat and these muscles decipher the sounds, and it pushes the thought into your mind. It becomes an actual thought. Well, I hope that this information was useful to you. And how is this relative to gang-stalking? When I was getting gang-stalked, I was a listening machine. And my muscles were so weak. My organs I had no control of them, because I was lost in thought all the time. So someone would say pussy, or no. Gang stalkers were able to push. They had a direct access to my mind. They would say something, and I would just listen to them, and even though it would beat my own mind, it would beat my consciousness in pushing messages. So like, I lost control of my throat. My ears control, like, how do I tell this? My speech used to be slurry, because I had lost access to a lot of my mouth. A lot of the muscles that I'm controlling when I'm talking were weak. And the ears the sounds coming from outside had more influence on my vocal cords than my mind, than my subconscious, than my consciousness. So that's why I was so susceptible to things that gang stalkers would say. It was crazy. But that is how that works. The more you're lost in thought, the more susceptible you are. So it is your duty as a gang stalker, as a target, or as a human being, to stay on top of to stay in the present, because when you're lost in thought, you're not aware, but your mind is a lot more susceptible to influence. You are more susceptible to being manipulated. Anyways, that's all I wanted to tell you in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.